Unscripted, unshackled, uncouth.
What you're about to hear is for more mature audiences only.
It's Miguel and Holly, Uncensored.
Hello and welcome to Miguel and Holly Uncensored. This is our off-air podcast, but I don't need to do that because Jacob 2 times just did it all for me. So you know the deal. You know our podcasts are. Go listen, please. This is going to be a little bit of a shorter one because time got away from me. And I was like, oh my God.
It's 10:45 almost.
I got to get to the airport because I'm coming back home to Tampa Bay.
And Tampa Bay welcomes you back with open arms.
Yes, I'm so happy to be back there. So I'm going for St. Petersburg Pride. But I'm going to make it more of a low-key one. And I say that now, but
just a fucking liar.
No. I have every intention to go into this. You know, like there's a big weekend and I'm like, I just don't want to be like drunk the whole time. But then like as soon as you walk into someone's house, they have a cocktail, they have a Jello
You
shot.
smell sunscreen.
I feel like it just smells like sunscreen right now.
Yeah.
It's hot.
Yeah.
I don't know though, because it's hot in Charlotte right now, isn't it?
It is hot, but it's not wet like it is in St. Pete. So that's what I'm.
It's muggy.
Yeah.
It
It's
just
so muggy out here.
when it rains though, like brings in some cool air, but like still damp.
I mean, it felt earlier this week in Charlotte like it did when we were in Dallas for morning show boot camp.
Oh,
where
God.
like it was like there was a little more moisture in the air, but it just felt like you were in an oven.
Dry oven.
Yes, that's
Mhm.
really what it felt like in Dallas. I felt like you would step outside and the wind would blow, and I'm like, I'm baking.
Yes, that's what it like. You were in an air fryer.
Yes.
That's what it felt like.
I'm a chicken wing, but
It's
that's not how
horrible.
Florida is.
No, so I'll be there sweating and moist everywhere. So
Sweating and moist.
love
it.
So I wanted to talk about something real quick that I wonder if like, okay, hold on, let me present it before I try to frame it.
Okay.
So as we've been talking through the year, I feel like I'm coming to terms with turning 40. And I think when you get to a big age like that, especially we got a financial advisor that's talking about, like the future and retirement and like not just like, okay, well, make sure to have a 401k and then, we'll talk about it later. Now it's like, no, what's the strategy? What are you doing? And in these talks, our financial advisor, who Holly has as well, she was like, okay, this conversation is going to be a little awkward, but it's true. Miguel, you're a few years older than Abe. So statistically, you will probably die before him. So we have to talk about how much money Abe will need for the years that. And then Abe was like, no, I'm going first.
Oh, God, not
And
this.
Abe, you're so. I can't stand you. You're so annoying, Abe.
He was like, no, Miguel's going to outlive me. And I was like, well, we don't know because I am a few years older than you.
And you do have that. You had that high blood pressure.
So it's like,
And you won't stop eating.
listen, bitch, I have calmed down, bitch.
Thanks to Ozempic.
Thanks to
Saving
Ozempic.
that as the clip.
No. So anyway, I just feel like there's a lot of things that have been happening that have signaled to me you're entering into the next phase of life.
Yeah.
And so there's all sorts of thoughts that come around with this. But one thought that I had recently is I remember in my actually it was in college when I was doing my college radio show. And I remember talking about math. And I don't remember what the conversation was, but I was just like, girl, I can't add, I can't subtract. I need a calculator for everything. And this is when like our phones, we didn't have iPhones yet.
Right.
And so I was like, when I go to a restaurant, I struggle trying to figure out the tip, yada, yada, yada. And then I remember in class the next day, because our morning show on the college campus station had gotten pretty popular. And someone was like, you know what, Miguel, y'all were talking about your math things. He was like, I really connected with you. He was like, you were made to do this because you're so vulnerable and you're talking about something that most people will be ashamed about.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, maybe I need a filter that should show that I have some shame around some things.
That's why you're good at this job.
But that's when I learned that you don't have to try to be cool. You just be yourself, and that's cool. So that is what I have been operating under in my career and in life since college. Well, now I'm getting not old, just older,
Correct.
maturing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, there are interest in things that I like that I feel like if I was 25 and listening to our show, or if I was following Miguel Fuller, the radio personality, on Instagram, I'd be like, ugh, not cool. So this is why this comes up. Last night, I was so enthralled with this. I'm so embarrassed because I told Abe about it last night, and he's like, well, I'm happy that you're having fun watching that, and I'm not there with you. I'm glad you're having a moment.
Okay.
It was the documentary about the life and career of Barbara Walters.
That tracks. That tracks. I can't even tell you. Like, you love older, particularly white ladies with power. Not all white ladies. Look at Oprah.
He like Oprah.
Right. Whitney, hello.
Is that what I'm saying?
Diana Ross, hello.
Well.
So I was just saying that, like, it was so interesting. Like, she literally was the first. I mean, like, she like when in her story, it was because there was some stuff I didn't know, because my frame of reference for Barbara Walters was like, I remember watching the first day The View came on in like 97. Because it was like a couple weeks before I started school, 7th grade in Atlanta. And I remember I was like, look at these ladies just talking. We got Star Jones over here, Joy Behar. Oh, yes, very gay. Like,
gay.
My mom was like, why are you so interested in these older ladies talking? And I was just like, I love it.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, cute.
So my frame of reference was that. And then I also watched 2020.
I was going to say, wasn't she on 2020?
2020.
That's my frame of reference for Barbara Walters.
Well, that's how I knew her, like, because I love those news magazines or TV news magazines they had in the 90s, where it was like 2020, Primetime Live, Current Affairs, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So anyway, I was just really geeked out watching it because there were so many things I learned. And then one of the things that I also learned about Barbara Walters, because none of you are ever going to watch this documentary. It's on Hulu, by the way.
Great.
Is that, like, Barbara Walters was cut fucking throat.
I think I knew that.
I mean,
but she had to be.
Right. And that was the thing. Like, they showed footage of her where she had this big interview before any of us were even thought of, like in the 70s, with these two world leaders that, like, the big news anchor guys like Walter Cronkite and stuff would, like, they were basically, I mean, in the video, they're talking down to her. They're like, well, look at this little lady.
Yeah.
And she's like, used her charm to, like, get this big interview. And then, like, when she made, like, the first, like, $1 million, like, it was very publicized and people were like, who the fuck do you think you are, little lady coming up here trying to do the news? It was super fascinating about that. And she just trudged through.
Yeah.
And one of the things that she was like, I have a regret, is that I was a horrible mom. She was like, I always chose my career over my daughter. And she was very forthcoming in it. And Oprah, they interviewed Oprah, and Oprah was like, that's why I didn't have kids, because I knew I would always choose my job over my child. So anyway, I'm just like, Abe calls me towards the end of this, and I'm just saying all this, and I'm just like excited. And he was like, I'm so happy for you. I'm so happy you're enjoying it. And then after that, I was like, I want more people to watch this because no one's talking about it, and it's so good. And then as I went to go hit enter, I was like, wait. I'm in this era where I'm really working on my social media.
Yeah, you are.
That is going to get no traction. Not one person's gonna like it.
Unfollow.
Barbara, who is
Barbara Walters? Right.
Fucking old.
Like, I cry, y'all. Like, part of the last scene, like her last, like her last day on The View. Oprah was like saying all the, like, women journalists on, like, all the networks, and then they all came parading out, and they were like, literally, you were the first. Like, how can somebody actually stand on stage and be like, all these women came because of Barbara Walters?
Yeah, no,
she
she's
literally
an icon.
cut through the path.
Right. And I was
the
just
jungle.
like,
that is iconic, though.
It is.
Right.
I mean, it is. I have goosebumps.
it's huge. But then I was like, girl, the 25-year-old that I just met at a party last weekend in Charlotte would be like, who's Barbara Walters?
Yes.
And I'm not watching that fucking documentary.
No.
So then I didn't post it.
Oh.
And then this morning I felt bad because I'm like, I keep hearing, be authentic, be yourself, be authentic, be yourself. So I say all of this to say, as you get older, because we talk to a younger demographic,
Yep.
you have to sort of like change. Because like there are still things that I love that I could post about. Like I also watch the soapy, crazy, The Waterfront show on Netflix, which was great this week, which, you know, the young ones are watching.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, do I have to now like go through that filter of like, girl, they're 25. They don't give a about Barbara Walters.
That makes sense. To comment on the Barbara Walters documentary, I was so enthralled by the Hillary Clinton Hulu documentary that came out a few years ago.
Yes.
And of course, I was the only one that cared because, of course, everyone fucking hates her. But I was so impressed and I thought it was great. And then the other side to that is sometimes I feel the same way when I'm posting like too much gay shit on my Instagram story. I know majority of my followers are women, and obviously I'm very pro women and like all these things, but I don't think they care that much about that content. It's definitely more friendly to them. And that's why I probably have such low male numbers, because they don't care about drag race or drag memes or anything like that. But with the girls, I could always kiki with and laugh, and they get it easier. So I kind of understand sometimes, even when I post something, even political, right? I always feel like, okay, I have to follow it up with something maybe a little funny. So it's not just doom and gloom on my Insta story.
Maybe we're looking at authenticity wrong. Because is anybody truly actually legit authentic anymore in this day and age of social media? Because what the two of you both said, like, you're still being you, but there's a thought process.
Right.
And I mean, we're in a little bit of a different space because of our job. You know, we have this media job. So if I was just working, you know, down at the corner store, I don't know if I would have to have all, like, I would put whatever it is on my social media, and that would be authentic because who cares?
Right. Because then that's just truly just to your friends.
Right.
It's just your personal journal, right? And so you're afforded the ability to be a little bit more actually authentic. But I think because we're in a bit of a media position, authenticity means something different. And like we used it always to promote the Miguel and Holly show. That was our brand, right? Our brand is that we are authentic, and we are, but only to a certain extent, because we still have to fit into the filter of, you know, we're on a female oriented, or like that's our demo, you know, 18 to 34-year-old women or whatever it is now.
49.
1849.
They aped it up, girl.
Oh, thank God, because people love us. So like we have to sort of keep that filter for our content. And like this is something that I've struggled with for years, because they hold women to a different standard for age things, because there's the push where like, well, women need to speak up because you don't just get erased after the age of 40, 50, 60. We are not here for women's, you know, elderly erasure. But then it still keeps happening, you know, like it's all fine. And it's kind of like mental health. We should talk more about mental health. Not that way, though. Like that. It happens with women's stuff where it's like, well, you should be proud to be XYZ old, like 43 or 52. Yes, I am. Because you know why? Not everybody makes it that far. And it's a privilege to make it that far in life. However, society still tells us, well, we don't really want you to be too old, though, because nobody want to see that. That's not relatable to the young people that we're trying to talk to. And so it's this weird balance of being authentic and finding out, you know, and then trying to put out who you are without seeming too whatever it is, too old, too gay, too momish, too whatever it is.
Playing to the algorithms.
Yeah. So I think that authentic means a little bit something different. And to Amy's point on Facebook, that I was thinking while Kelvin was talking, how many people are truly authentic on their social media, aside from the guy working at the convenience store who does not give a fuck? Sure, be authentic, but like everyone's also trying to put their best reel forward. You know, you're not showing me the fight that you just had with your husband and all this. You're showing me like this perfect family vacation where you love your kids and none of them were annoying and everybody had such a fun time and we ended with ice cream. Meanwhile, there's like screaming and someone's crying and now you and your husband are in a fight. Like, I don't see that. I only saw the good part.
And it's a double-edged sword because yeah, you could be fully authentic in that aspect, because I've seen people post about their vacation and they have complained about certain aspects of it, and I've cringed myself and been like, you're fucking spoiled, you're
Right.
being annoying. But
Right.
actually what they're complaining about is pretty authentic to them because it's inconveniencing them, which is a true valid emotion. We've been inconvenienced by really stupid first world problems, right?
Right.
But I would never post about it.
Right.
Right.
So-
So I think we take a look at what does it mean to be authentic in 2025 on social media in different walks of life. Like I said, we're media people. So what does it really mean?
Yeah, I think just sort of like what we do on our show. And that's how I'm trying to treat social media now as I'm entering into this, content creator era of parsing pieces from my life that I'd be like, oh, that would be a good topic on the show. And now I think, oh, this would be good on Instagram. So like I would never, even if I was 30, because I still liked, documentaries about Barbara Walters, even then, because I was like a weird kid that liked stuff like that. Even when I was like in middle school, I was reading fucking Time magazine, didn't know what I was reading about.
Right.
But I was like, I want to learn, I want to know more. But also understanding that like I would never, even if I was 30, come to the show and be like, all right, it's 7:20. We're going to spend 3 minutes talking about this Barbara Walters documentary that I watched. Like I wouldn't bring that to the show because 95% of our audience would be like, oop, let's see what the other radio station is talking about right now.
Right.
And so trying to use that filter, but then it made me a little like, dang, it's really happening. Like just
It happens more and more frequently as you get older, I think.
right.
And also, it's kind of like endearing and adorable for a 30-year-old to have watched a Barbara Walters documentary because it's like, oh, that's so weird. You're so young and that's such an old person thing. That's so funny. And then as a 40-year-old, you're like, oh, well, you're an old person doing an old person thing. It's not so funny anymore. It's not so funny. Like, it's cool
Yes.
when you're 22 to sit
Right.
here and crochet things. Oh my God, look at you. You're such like a cozy grandparent until
Yeah.
you're suddenly a cozy fucking grandparent and then you're just old knitting.
Oh,
on the
they're
couch.
like, wow, that's what you're doing with your time, girl.
Right. It's okay. It's like weirdly okay for younger people to do older things because it's cute. But like when older people do older things, it's just old.
Right. Damn.
So
Yeah.
it's going to happen more and more
true.
frequently, I think.
Aw.
Like I get a lot of stuff on social media for me right now where it's like, catering to that, where it's like, raise your hand if you would rather, go to a brunch and then be home by 5 p.m. and eat and you're in your cozy sweater by 8 and you're asleep by 9. Raise your hand if that's you. And I'm like, well, yes, that's me. Like,
Actually, well, and that's sort of like that. Remember, I was telling y'all behind the scenes that millennial party that they had here, where it was music from like the 80s, 90s, and 2000s, and the party started at 4 and went until 10.
Yes.
And I was like so excited because at this theater where it happened, it's called the Black Box Theater here in Charlotte. And normally I've only been there for these EDM shows or as Hollywood call it a rave, but they call it a
That's
circuit
what-
party. That's what the
Circuit
gays
party,
call it.
They called it raves back in the day.
Yeah, it's a circuit party. And I do not like those parties. I only like the ones that because they have like gay ones that they call Twirl around the world. And it's a fundraising organization, but they throw these big parties. And usually there's one for Pride, there's one for the holidays, and then there's like I think one in the spring. And I like the holiday one because usually like people come from like a holiday party and everyone has like either like their nice holiday work party suit or they come dressed as like a slutty Santa Claus. So you see sort of the gamut of everything. And usually the DJs they have words to it, but usually these parties go on, they have no words to the music, and it's
a
just
lot of
boots and cats, 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 boots and cats.
Oh.
And then, you know, like people are taking things that I do not partake in. And so usually there's a time where things take a turn and it's just not.
Somebody's licking the wall.
Yes.
Yes.
It's not my favorite, but I go because my friends like to go and it's, you know, it's what everyone's doing. So I was telling all my friends, I was like, I'm so excited for this Millennial Day party. And I had been, I think when I first saw it on Instagram, I had like sent it to everybody that I knew. And I was like, hey, you got 2 months, you got a month, you got 3 weeks, you got 2 weeks.
You were out here
this
really
week.
promoting this party. You were the marketer.
I mean, you would have thought I was getting paid. Like I was going to make an appearance as Miguel Fuller from Hits 96.1. I was so excited.
Mhm.
Kelvin came. His husband came, Oscar. My brother and sister-in-law that were in town, they came. And granted, by the way, they're in like their mid to late 20s and they were excited about it.
Mm.
None of my other friends came.
I felt really sad about that because I would have loved it.
To be fair,
Mm-hmm.
I too had I don't think I want to do this. I think I would rather go out at night. Like feeling.
Right.
Truly, I did. And I am in my 30s as well, even though this was a party geared towards 30-year-olds.
Mm-hmm.
But I still wanted to go and hang out with you guys. And like I always have a great time with you and your crew. And my friend was in town as well. And I was like, let me just give it a chance. Like, why not? It's something different than what's available here in Charlotte. It's always EDM heavy stuff.
Right.
No words, can never know the songs. And to me, that irritates me when I go out. You know, I want to sing along to a song. We don't often get those opportunities. But I did have that thought, you know, going into it. I was like, I don't know if this is going to be cool. And there were moments where it wasn't cool, but not that many. I genuinely enjoyed it for the most part, more than I thought I would.
Right.
And by the uncool parts, it was like Sweet Caroline.
Yeah. I mean, you know what's funny, Kelvin? I was looking at their Instagram because it's a company that tours around and they do this. And I'm assuming they have like the same sort of set list. And that's the comment I do see is they were like 8.5 out of 10. The only times I didn't like it is when you were doing like the wedding songs that grandma would come out and dance to, where it was like that doesn't like they weren't playing Sweet Caroline on the radio when we were growing up. Like that was a little hokey.
Right.
But everything else though was fantastic.
Yeah.
And so here's what set me over the top. I haven't told y'all this part. And I'm not, and if my friend ever listens to this, I do not want him to feel bad that he sent this in this group chat, but it did hurt my feelings. And my feelings do not get hurt easily.
No,
Right.
usually you're pretty like water off a duck's back.
Like I've done this job for so long now. Like you can call me a fat beep, beep, beep. And I'm like, I don't care.
Oh.
I'm like, girl, are you paying my bills? Are you my husband? I don't give a fuck.
Got it.
So most things don't bother me. But then so I sent like what I thought was a fun photo of like the things on stage and everything.
It was cute.
Now the DJ did look a little hokey. Like he had like one of those like
The
mohawks that, but like not like a fro or a faux hawk that we were doing in like the mid 2000s. This was like straight up gelled up, like he could cut you with it.
Oh,
mohawk.
I went to
Yes.
high school with one of those kids.
Right, very popular during our time in
I
school.
mean, not that He was
well,
weird.
for that, like
He was a weird kid. let's be
metal.
honest. Yes. No, he was definitely like
Rar.
he was
Yeah.
grunge.
Right,
As
right.
grunge was left over a little bit. Yeah.
Rar XD.
So yes. So I sent a picture of that and I forgot, and I should have pulled it up, but somebody in the group text, they were like, well, that looks like a lot of fun. Who is this hokey guy? Or just something that was just like, knew it was going to be a bad time.
Name them.
No, I'm not.
No, you won't.
I won't. Because it was like, so I'll pull up the
Did
message.
he think that you were sharing it because you didn't like it?
Yeah, like that's not something you would even do. Like you wouldn't take a photo of something to make fun of it.
Right.
No. Like, does he even know who you are? First of all,
Don't ick my yum. Ew.
exactly.
Hold on. Let me see if I can find it. Because
that's like really rude, actually.
Yeah, especially that you invited them.
And that you were so excited. So unless he thought you were like, ugh, this is a bust, and he was like, yeah, that looks lame as fuck. Like, how like horrifically rude for you to be like, oh my god, look at us having fun, and he's like, lame.
that's what it felt like.
What?
I was like, okay.
Wow. But
Okay.
see, sometimes young people, they don't be thinking about nobody else besides them. So it happens.
No, it's
Very selfish
true.
time.
Damn it. I wanted to read because actually now that I'm saying it, I wanted to like look at the message.
It was
in
June 14th time.
June 14th. Okay.
Yeah.
There's so many different fucking group chats that I'm like, which one was it in? Oh, that goes back to November. I'll have to look for it and see what it was. But you know what? No matter what he said, that's how it felt. And so then I saw that, and then I was like, okay, I'm gonna go to the bar. I'm gonna grab a drink. It's fine. It's fine. So I didn't respond. I was like, I'm not gonna respond. There's no need. So then I get my drink, and then like everybody's like dancing, and then we go down to the floor, and then like they played a Whitney song, and I was like, okay, I'm back. I'm fine. I'm fine. And then I forgot what song. It was like a down song, and then I started thinking about it again, and then I was like, Abe, come here. So then we had one of those drunk moments in the bathroom where I was like, you know, I go to everything and I support them and I fucking hate all of it, but I still go because they're friends and they couldn't come for just 30 fucking minutes. And he was like, well, are you having fun now? Are you having fun with Isaac and Karen? I was like, yeah, having fun.
You're like, yes, but then, but I'm also mad.
Crying at the
And then like people are like washing their hands next to us. Happening.
No, see, that's the difference between men's and women's bathrooms. If it was a women's bathroom, I would be like, no, oh my god,
Yes, everybody. Yeah.
oh my god, you look so good. Like,
like,
I'm
shut
like,
the
fuck
fuck
those guys, fuck those guys, right?
And
That's
then
a girl's
women
bathroom.
from the stall be like, oh no, fuck
Yes, be like, I'm one of his life. Yes, that's what I do
Girls
love
go
about
out of the bathroom like hand in hand.
Yes,
yeah.
yes,
Slow-mo
it is truly
support.
one of the best, like, you know, untouched bubbles of love. Anyway,
Right. Well, meanwhile, at this party, it was mostly straight guys. Like,
Yeah.
So it was dads who
not
live in
bad.
Valentine who were like, we got a babysitter for another hour.
Yes.
So they were like, ooh, this is weird. And then, and this is where I was like, okay, I need to get my shit together. I looked at my watch and it was like 7:00. And I'm like, okay, it's fine. So we finished out the evening and it was fine. But then I was just like, I guess I am getting a little older, just a little difference of what I find enjoyable.
yeah, but it is though. It is, I guess, difficult.
Mhm.
Yeah, I didn't really ever talk about it or think about it that way, but yes, it is.
No. So that's fine. So anyway, I got that off my chest. I felt good. Thank you.
Good.
I'm sorry. It
That's
is. It's
okay.
a tough transition. Like, honestly, though, like the actual flip over from 39 to 40 doesn't, you think it's going to feel like this whole big thing, but it's like a lot of little things that add up,
Yeah.
and more so after the fact.
Mm.
Like, I still felt like I was in my 30s when I turned 40. I didn't really start to feel any different until maybe last year when I started to have to wear these fucking glasses sometimes.
Mm.
And it was literally overnight, I feel like, in like April of this year, where I started to have to wear them at work.
Oh. And you're
It
like,
was, and I'm like, I'm sharing the story that every single old person says. Yep, happened right when I turned 40. Like, I don't know. Our eyesight just isn't built for over 40.
but we've
anyway.
been using it.
Yes, I've been using these eyeballs, and I had the LASIK, and it's just struggling to stay up. But anyway, it's just a bunch of small little things that just happen.
And I think as we get older, certain friends are for different things.
Mm.
Yeah,
Right.
I agree.
Right. No, it's very true. And I should, of all people, like I preach that all the time, that you don't go to every friend for everything. There are some friends that I go to if I know that I need some financial advice, or if I'm having an issue with Abe, or if I'm having a work issue. Like there are different friends for different things.
And there should be, because
Absolutely.
one person cannot just carry that load. For
100%.
you. That's not fair to ask them to do it.
Right. And also too, like I also would have had a bad time if they would have come and not enjoyed it.
Oh, that would have been worse.
So that's why I'm like, okay, because you know me, love looking on the bright side, glass half full. I'm like, you know what? It's best that they didn't come if they didn't want to come, because then I would have spent all of my energy making sure they were okay.
Mm-hmm.
Where everybody else, Kelvin was singing, Oscar was singing, Abe was singing, Isaac and Kara, who are in their 20s, my brother and sister-in-law, were having the time of their lives. So, you know, that's it. That's all.
So the people that were there for the right reasons and
Right.
supported the whole thing.
Yeah, we had a really great time. It was fun. There's a Katy Perry song, Hot and Cold, and she goes, Dun, 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 dun. And then Miguel and his brother-in-law were next to me, and the part where she goes, "It's black and it's white." I don't know why, but me and Audrey just started cracking up. I love a club with lyrics.
Yes.
I just want to sing.
Yes, honey. Ooh, I like what Vanessa P said. She said, Miguel, I'd love if you did day in my life videos on TikTok. Aside from Brew on the radio, I don't think there are any radio influencers on TikTok.
Well, unfortunately, Vanessa, I think there are, but they're trying to get your attention. Like, you just don't know about them.
Yeah,
There's a ton of, I come across a lot of them because I just follow people that are in radio. So this is why I know. Girl, they got 25 followers. They're trying so hard.
All trying.
Well, I think what it is that what Brew, and if you don't know, Brew on the radio is this guy who was in the small market in Michigan doing really great, relatable content. But what he figured out before the rest of us did is he was making his content for TikTok, not for his listeners.
Mm-hmm.
And so he blew up. It literally changed his life. So he went from this little town in Michigan to Detroit and then to LA, where now he's syndicated everywhere. It's funny enough, you just said that, Vanessa. I just saw that he won an Emmy for his interviews for the Emmys or the Oscars or something, because he's in LA and Odyssey, like the company he works for, had him interviewing all these artists or something, and he won an Emmy for it.
Dang.
And he's hot.
Yeah,
it doesn't hurt that he's hot. Because if he was real unfortunate looking,
let's be honest. Let's
the hot privilege.
Listen, I've already gotten
and
my
don't
emotions
apologize,
out
Vanessa.
today.
No, you wouldn't know.
Right, there's no reason
know.
for you to find, Karen in Sheboygan and her
who's out here just trying to be like, here's what I do on the radio today.
Here's my bratwurst shirt that I have. So that's why I've been gearing that's why you notice I don't do a lot of radio content. Mine is mostly just relatable stuff that relates to everybody. So, but I have an idea what I want to do for that. But anyway, Kelvin, how can people find you this weekend on social media?
Begging, follow me. Validate me.
Why should they follow you? What are you giving them to make it worth their time?
I've always told you, if I've ever wanted to become an influencer of any sort, it would be Insta stories. I just love posting Insta stories. But no, just follow me if you tolerate me. I feel at Kelvin Live.
You should start taking those Insta stories and putting them on your TikTok. Just put them on your TikTok.
Yeah, I think
do it TikTok.
I'm playing more with TikTok now because I feel like nobody really follows me there, and I'm okay with that. And I can just post whatever I want. So yeah, maybe I'll
play around.
Yeah,
just post it. I'd be putting a lot of stuff that I post on TikTok does not make it to my Instagram.
Got it.
I also forget sometimes. I'm still bad at this. I'm getting better. I am getting better. At the beach vacation, I was like, I need to put together a reel. So I just need random videos. I took a video of the snow cone machine, but I'm like, you need it.
But that's what you do.
Mm-hmm. Life hack, just do it through the camera, through the app.
What do you mean?
When you record and you're able to do it through the camera, through TikTok, just do it through that camera.
Oh, why?
Because it's easier. Instead, you don't have to edit a 1 minute video that you took maybe, and you're only using 10 seconds of it in your recap.
So you're saying use the TikTok record video, but where do you save it if you're not going to put the reel together?
In your drafts.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Maybe. I mean, I'm telling you, and I haven't done it myself, but
Okay. No, I know it's helpful because sometimes I have a hard time finding it. Okay. Anyway.
Okay, wrap it up. I gotta go.
Oh.
I gotta go to the airport.
Yep.
Holly.
Oh.
Radio Holly.
Okay. Mine is
Radio Holly on all the things.
Yeah. So I gotta go to the airport.
All right.
Miguel Fuller. Bye. We'll see you all on. Holly will see you Sunday.
Oh, Jesus.